Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is holding talks in Florida with US President Donald Trump this hour. The two leaders are discussing ways to end the war with Russia at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. Prior to the meeting, Trump had what he called a productive telephone call with Russia's Vladimir Putin. Here is some of what Trump and Zelenskyy had to say before the meeting got underway. Apologies for the bad sound quality.
There will be a security agreement. It'll be a strong agreement. And the European nations are very much involved in that. They'll be very much involved in protection, etc. But the European nations have been really great. They're very much in line with this meeting and with getting a deal done. They're terrific people. I think you can say that. There's nobody bad. They all want to get it done, and they've been very supportive, I think.
We will speak about 20 points plan. There in 20 points plan, 90% by the way was done by our two teams. I think they've made a great job, great work, and yes, we will discuss these points also.
And there are great economic benefits for Ukraine also, because there's a lot of rebuilding to do. There's a lot of wealth to be had, and they have great wealth. Potentially, they have great wealth. They want to get started. But there's a great economic benefit for Ukraine in what we're talking about.
President Trump.
Earlier, I asked Rachel Rizzo from the Observer Research Foundation what outcome we can hope for from the talks.
Well, I think the best outcome would be a scenario where Zelenskyy and Trump walk away with a better understanding of where both sides stands in the current situation in terms of where negotiations could potentially go and how far away a ceasefire potentially is. Now, looking at the meetings between Trump and Zelenskyy in the past, the one in early 2025 really went off the rails in the Oval Office. It did not go well for Zelenskyy. He walked away with nothing. The one where he met with Trump in October went better, although he didn't get the long-range Tomahawk missiles that he was hoping for. So let's see what happens in this meeting today at Mar-a-Lago. The hope is that there's one step closer to a ceasefire, although it depends on where Russia is, and I don't think Russia is any closer than they have been in the past.
But how much closer are they to an actual deal? I mean, this was a 28-point plan. It was very Russian. It's become less and less Russian. It's now down to 20 points. What are the biggest changes that you see that are promising, at least?
I mean, I think the biggest changes that I've seen are, looking at, territorial integrity is the big one here, right? So Russia has made pretty impressive gains over the eastern Donbas region. Ukraine still holds about 20% of it. So the big question is Ukraine going to be willing to make some territorial concessions? That's been a major sticking point. And it seems like they are willing to do that at this point. Another big question, I think, is control over the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, of course. Also, bilateral security guarantees for Ukraine, Article 5 NATO level or NATO modeled security guarantees coming from the United States and Europe as well. Although Putin has made it clear he is not okay with any European troops on Ukrainian territory. So again, there's still major sticking points. We're making slow progress, but I still think a real ceasefire is still a ways away.
And what do you think about this point about Ukraine not being able to join NATO, but having some sort of security guarantees that mirror the benefits of being part of the alliance?
I mean, I think this is a pretty good outcome for Ukraine. As someone, I've watched the NATO enlargement debate for years at this point. And of course, there is an open door policy for NATO membership, although it was never guaranteed or even agreed upon by members on whether or not Ukraine should ever be a member. It was a major sticking point for the alliance as well, not just for Ukraine, not just for Russia. And so I think that keeping that door open for Ukraine was actually creating more tension for the country as time went time went on. So I think if NATO is off the table, having bilateral security guarantees that look like NATO security guarantees are about as good as we're going to get now. So I think that's a good thing for them, and it's something that they should walk away proud with. Another issue that we're looking at is potential EU membership. I think that's a major sticking point as well. That's even harder than I think NATO membership is. So a lot of membership in international organizations, I think that's on the table, but still a ways away at this point.
Rachel Rizzo, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.